So this month is Serve Challenge month for our members, and what we're seeing a lot from our members is hitting their serve and it being bouncy and easy for their opponents to return at the other end.
Yeah, a lot of players think that the serve is just a point starter, but they don't realise they can actually use their serve as a weapon to set themselves up in the point.
So here we're going to give you 3 tips on how you can avoid a bouncy serve and make it an attacking weapon. So one of the biggest causes of a bouncy serve is often this low contact. When players are contacting the ball at shin height or knee height, the ball has to go up over the net and is bouncy at the other end. Show us what we often see at that level, and therefore it's always going to be easier for the opponents, isn't it? We see that a lot of hitting down low to high on that ball.
And another thing we see with a lot of players is they might have a higher ball drop, but they actually come under the ball like a tennis forehand. So they throw it up higher, but then they come under it and use their wrists, and it's bouncy as well.
And it's this whole thing of going low to high, isn't it, from tennis often to create topspin in tennis, but here it's giving you a bouncy serve.
So today let's go into the different aspects to make your serve less bouncy.
So tip number 1 is getting the ball up to the contact height that we want, right? It can go up to your waist height, so it can go up to this high. So you need to be able to make that ball bounce up, yeah? So we're going to just drop it, you know, nice and high. And if you're using softer balls or wet balls, for example, you might want to even give it a little bit of a bounce to get up to that height. But we need to get the ball up to this height for the peak of its bounce so that you can contact there.
Yeah, if it's a bit lower, then you have to come under it, don't you? So it has to get to a certain height.
So tip number 2 is to start with your racket up high, or at least to get it to a high take back. We often see the pros where they might start here and then they take the racket back to this position, but they always go from high down towards the ball, and we need that if we're going to come with any slice on that ball. So start with the racket high and go to meet that ball.
For many players, this can feel uncomfortable to start in this position, particularly if you've always served with your racket down. So when you first try this, it might feel really strange to have your racket up.
Yeah, it feels a bit weird. It's breaking a habit at the end of the day. And what we often see is players, if they're not used to it, they start here and then they almost go down below the ball and then come up from this high position. And then you get that same problem that the ball ends up being bouncy. So what we want to do is to go, you can hold that there, Tom, is to go down straight to meet it. So you're going from this high position straight down towards the contact. And so our 3rd tip now is when you contact the ball to come through with a little bit of slice, and that will help keep it low at the other end. This idea of brushing the ball, this is topspin, and we want to just impart a little bit of slice on that ball so that it stays low at the other end. If it hits the glass, it also stays low off the glass.
All those ex-tennis players need to try and forget about that forehand. The forehand with the wrist gives you spin. You don't want that on a paddle serve.
And I think it's also, those that are not from racket sports, to hit slice on a ball, they think that they need to come through and really chop underneath it. And the problem is chopping underneath it means that it also goes up. So you almost want to have it where the racket face is slightly open, but you're actually going through the contact, and that will create the slice, but also mean that it's a horizontal trajectory. So we do a monthly member challenge, and this month it's the serve. So we've provided a course of serve with challenges on what they can do during the month for our members, and it's something we do every month. Last month was a vibra, this month the serve, and next month we'll do a different shot. And some of our players have sent in videos already, and we're now looking at their technique and trying to improve it. But it's a great way, isn't it, for our members to get coaching feedback when they might not have access.
Yeah, every month, 30 days, we challenge our members to transform their game, and we've seen some incredible results. So if you are interested in joining our member challenges, check out thepaddleschool.com.
And there's a free trial. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can go in, immediately put your videos up. Tom, myself and the other coaches will analyse those, and you can already start improving your serve.
Stanley, so many players think of the serve and paddle as a point starter, and because it is relatively quite a simple stroke, they don't necessarily think that they can maximise it. They're quite happy just putting their serve in play and starting the point, but they don't realise how much of a weapon the serve can be.
And we will no doubt get comments on this video, and a lot of our serve videos go where they say, oh, the pros just get the serve in. It's not a weapon when you can return all of the serves. But I mean, even at the pro level, if they hit a really good attacking serve and they get even a slightly easier second ball, like a slightly easier first volley, then it's worth trying to do that. And definitely at recreational, no matter what level you're playing at, if you can hit a better serve and therefore get an easier next ball, or maybe get an unforced error from your opponents, then it's worth it.
Yeah, and it's the one shot as a player you can work on your own, and you have the time when you're on the court to do it. So it's definitely a shot that you should invest time practicing.
So to summarise there, our 3 tips are: get the ball to a contact height, so give it a nice high drop. Secondly, start with the racket high so that you can come to meet the ball and you can swing down to the ball. And then the third tip was that racket face, open it slightly to create the slice.
Yeah, and over here we're going to put a link to thepaddleschool.com, which is our membership where we talked about the different challenges. And down here we're going to put a video where you can serve like the World Padel Tour pros.